As most of you already know, I relocated from Ghana to the UK in 2018 to work as a registered nurse in the UK. As a nurse who was trained in Ghana, West Africa, the relocation process was quite confusing, with having to pass several exams, navigating paperwork, fees, etc. It was quite a lot. After becoming a nurse in the UK, after getting my license, I have used my channel over the years to educate other migrant nurses on how to move to the UK to practice here. This video is an update on the step-by-step guide on how to move to the UK to practice as a nurse, regardless of where you are from, whether you're from Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, Europe, America, anywhere, in 2025. So this is for anybody that has a similar dream like myself and would like to relocate to the UK to practice as a nurse. This video is for you. Hi guys, welcome once again to my channel. So the process of relocating to the UK to work as a nurse is not exactly as it was years ago. I remember my very first video I did on this topic was somewhere around 2020, and there have been a series of changes. So in this video, I know that people make New Year resolutions, when there's a beginning of a new year, and for some of you, you may have a similar dream of relocating to the UK in 2025 to work as a nurse. So for those people with that dream, this video is an update, a guide that is going to show you the step-by-step guide and all the tips that you need to come here to the UK to work. So to make it easy, I have grouped the entire process into about 10 steps. Let's say about 10 steps. And so before I go ahead, let me say that usually to be eligible, so that you don't waste your time, you should have had at least a 3-year nursing degree or diploma from your home country or from wherever country you trained. Usually to work as a registered nurse, an RN in the UK, if you had only 2 years nursing education, you may not qualify, right? So that is just a bit of advice before I start. So the first step you have to do is to create an NMC online account. So NMC is the Nursing and Midwifery Council of the UK. Before you become a nurse in the UK, you'd have to be on their register. And the first thing you do is not to go to a connection man. The first thing you do is to pick up your phone. So far as you have internet, pick up your phone and type in www.nmc.org.uk. So when you click NMC online, obviously you go to the registration section on the website. And when you click on the registration section, you select joining the register. When you choose joining the register, you select register as a nurse or midwife. This video is not for nursing associates, so I'm not going to talk on that. You select register as a nurse or midwife, and then you go to trained outside the UK. So you go to trained outside the UK, and when you get to this part of the website, it's going to give you two main options. Either you get the step-by-step guide that I'm about to tell you in this video, find out how the whole process is on the website, and but some people don't like to go through and read. They want to actually hear from somebody else who has gone through the process. Or you can get a pre-application checklist. So basically what a pre-application checklist is that it's going to ask you a series of questions, and then it would give you a list of documents that you will need to start or to complete the entire process. So let's say it's going to ask you if you have had a change of name, if you have a passport, and all of that. So it would give you a list of documents that you'll be asked to submit in the course of the process. So let's say if you've changed your name, they can ask you to include the documents where there's proof of change of name, like a marriage certificate or whatever. So I would advise that you go on the website and fill the questionnaire and get a pre-application checklist if you want. It would help you, adequately prepare for the entire process. So to create an NMC online account, you are going to select check how to join the register, and then over there on the website, they have grouped the entire process in 4 steps. There's a little more than that in reality. So you are going to select the second one. You are going to select complete eligibility and qualification application. You are going to select that, and then you hit on begin your application. So you select start application. So when you select start application, it's going to ask you a series of questions, and then you'll be able to create the account. Let me say that creating the account is very easy. If you have an email, if you have a TikTok account, an Instagram account, it's basically the same thing, just creating the account. So let me add that I'm also going to input the link that you need to start the entire process in the description of the video, so that you can just click on it and then you can start the application. This account that you are creating is extremely important. You are going to have this account even when you move to the UK and you start practicing. You're still going to be using this account, and the details you put there are details that the NMC will know you for. So let's say the NMC wants to contact you via your email. Is the email address that you use to register or you put on there that the NMC will use to contact you. So make sure that all the details are up to date and it is really you. You don't have to let somebody do this on your behalf. You can't do this yourself. You're a nurse, remember. So make sure that all your personal details are up to date. Make sure that the date of birth on there matches what's on your passport, the name there matches what's on your nursing record, and all of that. You understand? And then before you actually create the email, the NMC is going to send you a verification to make sure that is the correct email, right? So there's verification. Sometimes it can go into your spam or your junk, so make sure you check that, and then you verify that it is indeed your email, and that's you done. So the first step is creating an NMC online account. So now we're done, right? Now let's go on to the next step. The next step is also very important, is the eligibility and qualification stage. So with the eligibility and qualification stage, the NMC basically just wants to know your identity. Obviously, they want to know who you are, and then they also want to know whether you are really a nurse like you claim you are. Those are the important things that they want you to prove in this particular stage, and you're only going to do that through the same accounts that you have created, the NMC online account. Over here, this step is £140, and this fee is not refundable, so you have to be extremely careful. That's why I said that. Remember, if your nursing education is only 2 years, you may want to think of another option and not the registered nurse option. Other than that, you're going to lose this £140. It's going to go. So on this step, the NMC would want to know who you are, one, and then they also want to know that you're really a nurse. You've had the right nursing education, and then your nursing education qualifies you to work in the country where you trained. Very simple, very simple. So with regards to your identity, they're going to ask you to upload your passport, you know, like the front page of your passport, and then input the details on your passport. At this point, let me say that if your passport is expiring in 2 months, probably you have to renew it first. At least you should have your passport with at least 6 months validity, you know, before you start the whole process. So you're going to upload your passport or your evidence, your identity evidence, and then you're also going to upload a copy of your qualification certificate. By this, I mean that the certificate that you got from your nursing school. So if it's a degree, you're going to upload the degree here. If it's a diploma, you're going to upload your diploma certificate here, right? As well, they would ask you to tell them your education institution's details for those who have never been registered. But then for those who are currently practicing as nurses, they would ask you to upload details of your regulator in your country, their contact details, so that they can contact them and verify. Let me say that again. So we know there are different categories of nurses. There are those that are currently practicing right now in other countries, let's say in Nigeria, in Africa, wherever, in Ghana, right? And then there are those that have just completed school, so they're not registered yet as nurses. Their degree or the diploma that they have in their country would permit them to work in their country. They have just not started working yet. Maybe they haven't gotten jobs yet. So everybody qualifies so far as you have the right training, right? But if you are already practicing, then they need you the details of your nursing regulator, so the NMC of your country, the Nursing and Midwifery Council of your country, to show that you're indeed qualified to practice. And for those who have not really been registered yet, you're just out of school, they need the contact details of where you went to school so that they can contact them and ask them if your education allows you to work in the country where you trained. That is the most important thing. So after that, then you go to the third step, where you're going to pay the £140 qualification fee for them to do the eligibility and qualification fee, for them to do, you know, all the checks and all of that. This can take a while for them to do all the checks, but what I would advise for you to help you speed this step, you know, is that you would contact your education institution, for those of you who are using your schools, and then let them know that the NMC is going to contact them for more information, so that they'll be checking their emails and then they'll respond back quickly. And then for those who are using their regulator as well, I don't know how it is done in your country, if you can let them know so that the regulator would respond quickly to the UK's NMC, and then you'll be given the go ahead to take the test of competence. So that will be the fourth step. So the fourth step is taking the test of competence. So the main exam, the main test of competence in this entire process are two. We have what we call the CBT and then the OSCE. So now at this current point in time, the CBT has changed, you know, from what I did years back. So now the CBT is in two parts. We have part A and then they have part B. So the part A is numeracy C, and part B covers clinical questions related to nursing or midwifery. This exam can be done in any country that has a Pearson VUE center. So you can check Pearson VUE test centers near me on Google and find out where it is done in your country, and then you can, you know, register. Until the NMC has, you know, passed you from the previous step, you cannot proceed to do this, okay? And then make sure that you are registering or booking the right exam, because we have mental health nurses, we have midwives, we have general nurses and all of that. So make sure that you're writing the exam that fits the qualification that you want to use to come and work here in the UK, right? The other one is also what we call the OSCE, which is the 10th station, the practical exam that cannot be done in your home country. It has to be done in the UK. And this is it. At this point in time, the NMC, once you pass the eligibility and qualification stage, they are giving you the go ahead to do any of these, right? Any of these at that point in time. So you don't necessarily have to start the entire process by passing IELTS. At this point, all the NMC is requiring from you is to pass any of these exams. You can do them interchangeably, right? But the easiest thing that most people go for is to do the CBT, because that one you can write it in your home country, so you don't need to book a flight to come to the UK to do the OSCE, which is a practical exam. So most people ideally would finish the CBT, and which I think is the best thing to do. You know, it's closest to you. So most people would book the CBT and, you know, pass the CBT, and it's a bit easier to pass the CBT as well, right? And at this point as well, let me add that the CBT currently costs about £83. So that means at the moment I'll be totaling the cost so far that we've spent on this process over there. CBT is about £83, so you pay the equivalent in your home country, and then you book and then you write it. There are several resources for the CBT. There are some on the NMC website, and there are some that you can get from various Telegram groups. Express Med Global, I'll leave their link here. You can contact them for that. And then Express Med Global is what I will recommend. So at this point, let me say that one of the major changes these days is the fact that even people who have passed, the government is not really funding recruitment anymore, especially international recruitment, because if you watch my videos, you know that they're trying to, you know, spend less in terms of international recruitment, right? So now in this day and age, right, the hospitals are still recruiting internationally. They are still in need, they are still recruiting, but it's not as much as they were before. In this day and age, if you really want a good shot at moving to the UK, you'd have to do the entire process yourself and fund the entire process yourself. At this point, let me say that one of the best institutions that's helping people with this is the institution called Express Med Global Services. So what they do is that at this stage, let's say before, you could have just written a CBT and then you get a job and then you come here, and the job or the hospital will fund your OSCE. They'll book a flight for you, give you accommodation, all of that, like what I got. But that is not the case anymore. These days, if you want a good shot, you would have to do the entire process yourself. But with Express Med Global Service, they make the entire process so easy. And let me say that they are sponsoring this video, right? But I know the members of this organization, and they have helped so many people. There's so many testimonies on the internet everywhere you go, and they would help you prepare for your CBT. And even if you want to pay for your CBT, you know you're paying, it's an international fee that you're paying for. Let's say you don't have a Visa card, you're struggling to make the payments with your bank, all of that. They can help you make payments for it in whatever country that you are. They can assist you in making international payments. And let's say you want to come to the UK on a visit visa, you know that is allowed. You know, it's called a self-sponsorship route. If you want to come to the UK on a visit visa to do the OSCE yourself, to go for training or yourself, and then to sit the OSCE and pass at the very first try, you also can get help from Express Med Global Service. They're going to help you with, and there are nurses that have gone through the process that have set this thing up. They made it so easy for people to pass at the very first attempt, because if the CBT is £83, but the OSCE is £794, and God forbid if you fail a station and you have to reset, you'll be paying a partial reset will be like £397. You don't want to fly all the way. You pay your visa application fee, pay for your ticket, you get here, you pay for training for the OSCE, and then you don't want to fail. You want to pass at the very first try. So that's why I recommend Express Med Global Service. They help with almost every stage of the application, of the entire nursing registration application for foreigners. They help you, and they are nurses. They are all internationally trained nurses that have been through the process and they understand. And because they keep helping people every week, every day, they are abreast with the current trends and what's happening. They do not offer jobs. They help you with the exams, the payments, and even if you do the entire process yourself and you get a job, but the job is saying that come to the UK but with your own ticket, they would book your ticket for you, and then when you get to the UK, you pay them back in bits. Like, they do everything, right? So back to the process. At this stage, you either take the CBT and then you take your OSCE. I've told you how much it costs, right? And then after you have passed these two exams, or if you cannot go through the self-sponsorship because of finance issues, just do the CBT at this point, and then you can start applying for jobs online. Same with the jobs application. Express Med Global can assist you with the CV writing, and then, you know, support statement writing and all of that. Or at this point, you can also do it yourself. You prepare a CV and then a supporting statement or a cover letter, and then you start searching for jobs online. If you want to know several websites in the UK that have jobs for nurses, I will include videos where I have mentioned so many of them in the description. I don't want want the video to be so long, or I'll do another update video on this on websites to find nursing jobs with visa sponsorship. So I'll say the job application step is the 5th step, and then with the 6th step, you have to complete your registration process. So over here as well, you'll be providing several evidences. The NMC want to know that you are healthy, you are of good health to come and work. They also want to know that you're of good character. They want to know that when you come, you can speak good English, you can communicate with your patients in English. The UK is an English speaking country. And then they also want to know that you have an indemnity arrangement in place, and then you pay the registration fee here. The registration fee here that you pay is £153. So I'll be totaling it here, right? So this is the 6th stage that you do, and it's the part where you complete the entire registration process. So in terms of your health, what they're going to do is that they're going to let you declare that you're of good health, don't have any, thing that can prevent you from working as a nurse. And then they're also going to ask for the details of, let's say, your doctor or your occupational health, or any registered health professional who knows you and can testify that you're of good health. And then they'll contact this person to verify. So at this point as well, all the people that they'll be contacting, if you want to speed up the process, I would say that reach out to them and let them know that their details are being used so that they can respond on time. Another thing is character evidence. So they will also let you confirm that you're of good character and you don't have any police or criminal record and all of that. So that will be their self-declaration. They will also let you upload a police clearance form or police certificate to show that you don't have any criminal record, you're not an ex-convict, and all of that. And then you can also nominate someone to make a supporting declaration that you are of good behavior, and also let this person be aware. So this person can be another registered nurse, this person can be your employer, your current employer, this person can be your school or the NMC of your country. They can give you the character reference. Then the next thing is the language evidence. So the language evidence, there's so many ways depending on your situation. The language evidence is basically you submitting proof that you can speak good English. And although there are so many English speaking countries, let's say Nigeria is an English speaking country, right? But the NMC does not consider Nigeria as an English speaking country or Ghana as an English speaking country, although you were taught in English. So you would have to, only some few countries are exempt from providing this evidence. And I'll list all those countries on the screen. So if you're from any of these countries, you don't need to write IELTS, you don't need to write OET, right? All you have to do is show that you were trained in this country, and that's it for you. So the rest of us, we have to write either the IELTS or the OET, and I'll leave the current IELTS requirement, the score that is required on the screen. With the OET as well, I'll leave the required result, what is expected on the screen. And then you know that you can also combine 2 test scores, and there's a way to calculate if your tests can be combined. It's called the test combining calculator. I'll leave a link there. Then you can use it and input the details from your first test, the results from your first test and your second test, and see if you can combine both of them. For those who did not meet the requirements the very first test, and let's say you write it again, but it's also not too good, but in certain situations you're allowed to combine 2 results to use as an evidence, but you're not sure if you can use it, I'll input what we call a test combining calculator in the description as well. You click on it and then you input the results for both of the tests, and then you can do it. People who have written both the IELTS and the OET, they say that the OET is the easiest because you're not going to find any complex, comprehensive, passages about Mars and Jupiter and all of that. It's more about healthcare, so it's easy to understand. And I think I only wrote the IELTS. So if you need assistance with passing your IELTS as well, ExpressMed Global Services, they offer IELTS tutoring as well online to help you. And so basically that is that. And there are also people who have been in the UK for over a year. They are working in, let's say, care homes and all of that, and they already wrote IELTS, but they did not really meet the requirement. You can also use the fact that you have lived and worked in the UK without any language issues or communicating issues, and you have a manager who is an NMC registered nurse. There's also a way to use that, and then you were trained in English. You can use that and get reference from your employer as also to prove your English proficiency. But this video is not about that. I have done so many videos about that pathway. So when it comes to the English language evidence, I think that is the toughest part for most people. And in this year 2025, I prophesy to you that will not be a barrier. You'll be able to finish that part and come to the UK. Another thing that they'll need you to do is to confirm professional indemnity arrangement. This is just like a tick box. So just tick this box. When you come to the UK, you register with RCN or Unison, and that gets you covered. So that is basically saying that you have a backing in terms if you have any legal issues, you have a body or a union that's going to help you. So you can take that, and when you get to the UK, immediately you register with RCN or Unison, whichever one you think you like. And then you pay the registration fee of £153, and that is you done for the last part of the process. So at this point, if you are still applying for jobs, you have submitted your CV and all of that, that. I'm hoping that at this point somebody may have, you know, responded, and then they'll prepare you for an interview. Once again, Express Med Global Services, they help you prepare for interview with your UK employer. And then, you know, once they are impressed, they'll give you an offer letter, and then they give you what we call a certificate of sponsorship for you to, you know, and that's all you need to apply for your tier 2 visa to be able to come to the UK to work or practice. So at this point as well, the NMC, after receiving all the health evidence, language evidence, character evidence, all of that, police, after they've received everything, they would also be doing their checks. That can take a while, but you can speed things up by always letting these referees or the people that you use to let them know that they will be contacted by the UK NMC, so they should speed up with their response. So after they have also responded and all of that, the NMC will now issue you with your PIN. That's the most important thing. That is what pushes you on the NMC UK register. But you can't be doing that alongside looking for a job. So far as you pass, once you pass the CBT and the OSCE, you can start looking for jobs immediately. And once they grant you an interview, you let them know where you are in the process. Let them know you've passed the CBT, and if you have passed the IELTS as well, you let them know you've passed the IELTS. If you have passed all 3, even better. And for those who would come to the UK on visit visas to do the OSCE themselves, those who will use the self-sponsorship route, let me say that ideally, when you pass the OSCE, you would have to come back to your home country to now apply for the jobs. I would say that obviously you are given 6 months on your visit visa, usually, right? And let's say you use the first 3 months to pass the OSCE, and you would use the last 3 months or 2 months or whatever you have left to aggressively search for jobs. But even when you get the job, most of the time you will be required to come back to your country because you are on a visit visa and not on a work visa. So even if you get a job offer, you get a certificate of sponsorship to be able to apply for a work visa, you are not able to stay on a visit visa. Even if you have those, you'd have to go back to your home country and reapply. In the WhatsApp group that I joined, there was a situation where the person explained and applied and got it. I never got proof of that, but then there are rumors that somebody did it and applied for a work visa whilst in the UK on a visa and it was successful. I have no idea if it's true, but it's boldly written on the website that you'd have to go back and reapply for a work visa. So have that in mind. Then again, if you don't have money to apply for your flights because you spend so much on the self-sponsorship route, remember Express Med Global can give you money or can book your flight for you so far as you have a confirmed job offer, your certificate of sponsorship, and when you come to the UK, you work and then you pay them back, right? For people who do not have the finances to go through the self-sponsorship route and they're doing it all the way from back home like how most of us did it, it's still very possible, but I have to let you know that you would have to aggressively apply to hundreds of jobs if you can, and with all the jobs, make sure that your CV is on point. And if you have friends who are already working for NHS Trust in the UK, you can also let their managers be aware so that immediately there's an offer, they can reach out to you. And also let me say that for those who are not doing the self-sponsorship route and are doing everything from back home, you have to make sure you pass your CBT and your IELTS before you start applying for the jobs. And then you don't have a choice. Apply to jobs in Scotland, apply to jobs in Wales, apply to jobs in Northern Ireland. Don't say as for me, my auntie's in London, so I want London. And if you don't get London, this is not the time to be picky, please. You are not even needing self-sponsorship. You are praying and hoping to God that somebody, that's all the thing for you, bring you and help you prepare for OSCE and all of that. So you don't have a say, unfortunately. My advice is that come to the UK, whether it's Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, wherever. And then when you get here and you don't like the place, you can switch. It's easier after you've gotten your license and you're already in the country on a work visa to switch. Also, you don't have a choice. So me, I want care home. I've heard so many negative things about NHS. No, apply for care home jobs, apply for NHS jobs, apply for private hospital jobs. You don't know which one is going to work for you. Please don't be too picky, especially if you're not doing the self-sponsorship route. Even those doing the self-sponsorship, you can't be too picky. Please, that is my advice for you for this 2025. Let me say that not everybody is also required to write the CBT. If you trained in certain countries, the UK NMC exempts you from writing the CBT, and I'll leave the list of those countries on the screen as well. If you're from these countries, you don't have to bother writing the CBT. Yes, so basically this is the entire process. If you are lucky and everything works in your favor, I think maximum 6 months you should be here. So if you're starting the process now, let's say you get a CBT date grades very quickly, you write it, you pass, you pass your IELTS on time, you're able to get there, it should take you roughly about 6 months. However, sometimes things do happen out of your control, and I hope that it doesn't affect you too much, because the eligibility and qualification stage is roughly going to take about 14 days. However, once they give you the go ahead to sit the test of competence, which is the CBT and the OSCE, you have 2 years to complete your registration. So after the eligibility and qualification stage, where you've provided your identity and then your school certificate or your qualification certificate, you have 2 years to finish the rest of the entire process. So you have to be aware of this. And after they receive your character evidence, health evidence, English language evidence, and all of that one as well, they hope to finish in about 30 days once they've received everything and they've received your registration fee. So basically that's how long it will take. But then again, remember that even though the NMC is aiming to finish the eligibility in 14 days and do all the checks in 30 days, blah 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 blah, remember that there are some things that are out of your control. For instance, remember they'll be waiting for confirmation from your regulator or the nursing council in your country. What if the nursing council in your country, the person is not fast? That can affect you as well. What if you're trying to book CBT and there are no available dates? Or what if you've gotten a visit visa but you don't have money for the ticket? Or what if you're trying to come and do the self-sponsorship route but you can't get a booking date to book, there are no available dates to book your OSCE? Or what if you've even passed your OSCE but you're not getting a job? So there are so many things that can happen, and if you're a Christian, I'll say pray about it. If you're a Muslim, I'll say speak to Allah. People are still coming. I know people that even came last week and they didn't even do self-sponsorship, they did the entire process from Ghana. So it's still very possible, but it's not as easy as it was before. That's the honest truth. So I'd also advise that you join Telegram groups, Facebook groups, and channels like my channel that keeps updating you on what's happening in all the trends. Express Medical Global as well, they have a Telegram group where they coach people, with the entire process of relocating. It's very possible. One final advice that I'll give you is that don't put all your eggs in one basket. Once you're able to pass the IELTS, you're most likely going to be able to finish the process for other countries as well. Ireland is just around the corner. They are still recruiting and you can, apply. The US still needs nurses. You can start the process as well. It doesn't have to be UK, okay? And remember, you have just 2 years to finish the entire process. So basically that's that. I wish you guys all the best, and I'm waiting for all your testimonies this year. That's Nanelle. We watched your videos, we used the links, and now we are in the UK. That's all I want to hear, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Bye.